Hi, John here again, and in this video I'm gonna show you a way to simultaneously work on your solfege and sight singing, but it's a bit different because you work on it more actively than let's say regular sight reading, where you read something that's already written, so you're only reading. Here you're going to actually sing something in solfege while notating what you're singing. So basically what you're doing, you're transcribing your own singing, and it's a really helpful exercise I found for really getting more fluent with reading and writing. So it's almost like scale practice for composers. So I would recommend that you incorporate this in your daily schedule, so make it a habit. You don't have to do it for that long either. I mean, that's up to you, but just a little bit every day will help a lot in the long run. So with that said, let's dive in here. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to demonstrate this with Sibelius and with the sound on here, so you can hear what I'm doing. But and even though I usually use Sibelius when I work on my orchestration and all that other stuff that I showed in the how to learn from your favorite composers video, it's in this case it's a bit different because you want to do this by hand. So you want to use regular staff paper when you do this. And the reason for that is there's some studies on they've studied how note taking by hand was more effective than note taking by keyboard or laptop. And I think the idea was that when you have to actually form the letters yourself by writing, it engages more of your brain, so the learning is better retained. And I feel that's true, but the reason why I don't do it with the full orchestral stuff is because it takes up so much space, and it would take so long. So I take the trade-off of using a notation program instead in that case. But with this, it's basically you're only working on one line at a time, and so there's no reason to not do this by hand. So you'll need staff paper and a pencil. And the second thing you'll need is some kind of drone. And a drone is, if you don't know what it is, it's just a note that keeps sustaining. So it sounds like this. So this is just, as you can see, a drone in C. And I use this one, Musician's Practice Partner, Cello Drones. You can find it on Spotify. And I think this is really good actually, because you can see it repeats for 6 minutes and you got all the 12 keys. So it's a good one. But if you don't like this sound, or you don't have Spotify, you can always make your own drone, and it's really easy to just hold down one note in your DAW and then you're good to go. So but you'll need a drone, staff paper, and you're also going to need to sing here. So you probably won't don't want to do this at your local coffee shop. It's probably sound really annoying. So some privacy as well, I guess. And I'm not gonna hurt your ears by singing in this video, but I'm gonna show you the basic process. So the basic idea is to put on the drone and choose the key you're going to work in, and now we're in the key of C. So let's say you're going to work on C major scale. So you simply start out with, you can actually start on whatever note you want, but it's probably easiest to start with the root. So you sing the root, but this is really important, you always sing in solfege syllables. So you can sing whatever comes to mind. Maybe just start more with a scalier pattern first, because it's easier to get going, and then incorporate more skips and leaps. So, but this all depends on what level you're at. So, I mean, you could do this with a whole tone scale or diminished scale or whatever you're currently working on. So that's what's so great about the method, because you can really tailor it to your own current needs. So if you disregard that I'm using Sibelius here and that you hear a piano sound, what you really would do is you would sing Do, and then you notate that, and let's say you sing Re, notate that, Mi, Fa, So, La, Ti, Do, for example. But then you can start to improvise with this, but you're leading with your own voice. So you might, and you try to sync it up as well. So you sing, let's say Do here, you notate, sing Ti, you notate, sing Do, notate, La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Ti, Do. So instead of the piano sound there, you should use your own voice and sing. That's really, really important. Because what singing against the drone like this does is that it you'll hear immediately if you're off, for one thing, compared to if you would just let's say you do this without a drone and you just play a C on the piano to start out, and then you go on and sing, and then you play the C again once in a while to see that you haven't drifted off pitch. I mean, that's okay too, I guess, but it's better to have the drone going on the whole time, because you can correct yourself immediately and you know that if you're doing something wrong or not. And also, by singing this to the drone, you can really hear how each note rubs against it, and this is almost like a physical feeling after a while. So this T here, you really hear that rub and that it wants to get up to Do, and like Fa here wants to go down to Mi. So and this is, I mean, this is personal. This, I mean, it's subjective what you hear, but some of the notes are really, I mean, T really wants to go to Do, and Fa wants to go to Mi, because it's and that's because of the half steps, so they lead. But whatever thing you start to associate with each of these sounds is personal and up to you. So, but you will get some sort of impression after a while, and that will help you to remember it, and also be easier being able to hear it when you hear it in actual music. So, and the nice thing here as well is that you get to come up with your own stuff, even though it's not a rhythmic exercise. Its focus is on the tonal relationships and really focusing on the correct solfege syllables. So what I would recommend is that you, let's say you have the 12 stave staff paper. I think that's the standard size. Maybe to fill up one page each day. So to have that as a goal, like sort of like a practice session. And if you do it like that, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. You can do it in, maybe do one line, the next, and then the next, and the next throughout the day. So you can really spread it out. Because the important thing is that you're focused when you're doing this. But I think you'll find that you'll get much more fluent when it comes to notating things that you hear, either from transcribing other stuff or transcribing from your own imagination. So you get it's just a really good way to practice, I found. So that's the basic part. And even if you're just starting out with solfege, I wish I knew about this technique when I started out, because it's really helpful. So let's say you just started out learning solfege, I would limit yourself to just a few notes, so you don't get overwhelmed. So maybe I start with 3 or 4 notes. So you start with, let's say, 4 notes, and then you have this as the sort of template, and then you can just sing different permutations of this pattern, so, and notate, like I said before. So maybe you just down and do, mi, re, fa, mi, re. And whatever, and also try it up an octave, and so you will start out here. Whoops. And as you can see, this is why you probably want to do it with by hand as well. It's easier. Oh, another thing. When I do this by hand, I don't include the stems, because the priority here is to get some sort of flow going while notating. So you don't want to be held back by correct notations in that fashion, So just notate the actual note heads. It's fine. And you want to have some sort of flow to it, and by that I mean that you get into some sort of rhythm. So you doesn't have to be fast, but you don't want to notate 3 notes pretty quickly and then stop, and then notate 4 more, and going on like that. Try to keep it at an even pace, because if you do that, and let's say you work on these 4 notes that I showed you before, and let's say you just go like this, you say do, mi, re, fa, mi, and here you when you go to re, maybe you notice that you slow down, or you can keep the pace. And whenever you see something like that, you have an opportunity to go back and see, okay, why did that happen? Is it because I have some problems with I can't hear re as clearly as some other note? And if you notice that, you can maybe incorporate re more in the next few bars. So maybe you do re mi, re, do, re, fa, re, mi, re, do. So you can sort of pinpoint wherever you have problems and then try to remedy that immediately. So learning is all about feedback. So if you do something, I mean, even if you spend like 12 hours a day practicing something and you do that incorrectly, you'll actually move backwards. You haven't learned anything. You just have some really bad habits to undo. So that's why it's really important to, whatever exercise you do, you want feedback. So it's like you can compare it to, let's say you're playing golf and you have to wait 1 hour before you can see where the ball landed. I mean, it would be impossible to improve. Well, not impossible, but it would be really, really hard. Or, let's say a piano where the lag would be so much that you had to wait 20 minutes for the sound to come up. So the more feedback you can get, the better off you are. And the drone is giving you feedback as well as the rhythm. I mean, keeping the pace is giving you feedback. And like I said, do something about the thing that you uncover. So if you see that something is off, try to focus on that for a bit immediately. So don't wait, do it straight away. So, and what else? Well, I'd recommend that you do this in one key as well, so you don't keep doing it in C, because it will help you to, it will be much faster for you to connect the solfege with the notation. Because if you would let's say you do this in C at first and you have do, fa, mi, re, but if you would do this in F, then it would be, then F would be do, and this would be fa, and this would be mi and re. And that's, you need to learn that as well, but since this is all about connecting your ear to the notation and to the solfege syllables, you're better off keeping it in one key first. So I practice almost everything like this in the key of C. And then when you're familiar enough with whatever you're working on, let's say you're really good with the major scale, then you can transpose that through the other keys. And I think you'll find you'll learn much faster that way. So transposition is important, but in this case it's better to do it in one key, just to ingrain the sounds. So I think that's basically it. So to recap, you need a drone, you need something to work on, and you need pen and paper. And the process is that you sing the solfege and you notate and try to keep it in an even rhythm. And whenever you stumble, you try to find out what notes gave you trouble and focus a bit extra on that. And just keep doing this day after day. And I'm 100% sure that your ear will get much, much better. Okay, so please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions at all or suggestions, just leave a comment below the video or contact me through my website. Okay, have a good one. Bye.